Hi everyone, this is Daniela, and today I'm going to talk about the map of the soul. The map of the soul and how does it work. Okay, the map of the soul. First of all, I want also to show you this is a map of the soul. First time I hang it here like this on the board, which looks a little bit weird. I used to put it on top of a table or on the floor. But I really want to share this with you. It's a tool that I use and it's very powerful, very revealing. Just reveals and shows you a lot of what we don't see. And so basically, the map of the soul is a guide, like a map. When you think about a map, it's a guide, but usually it's just on paper. And then when you go and you walk the terrain, you really have to really have to understand it, by being there. The same happens with the map, no? When I draw these cards, draw out the cards, I take the cards, and I usually do it. I like to do it in the full moon, and then this map works for me the whole month after the full moon of the month. And the way it works is I take the cards and then answering some questions that I have, and these are 9 cards. And then during the month, I start to understand by walking the life of that month, the things that happen to me, situations that happen, problems, doubts, where I need to find a way. This is a moment where I consult with the map of the soul, and I see and I start to understand what the images are revealing to me, and everything start to have more sense, and I start to see another view of the concept that I'm working on, that we'll talk about now. Okay, so basically it shows me a lot more of a theme that I really wasn't aware. It is a new point of view, from the source, from our divinity, from our collective consciousness, and our higher self, the one that knows everything. So comes to show you another way to see and to solve the problem that you are dealing with at the moment. So, and okay, another thing that about the map of the soul is that the main tool of the map of the soul is the intuition. Here we don't work with words. Words is a tool from the reason, the logic, and this is the map of the soul. It just goes beyond that. This is another dimension where we can access through the intuition. What the intuition does is it opens a channel, and this channel is where we can receive and we can communicate with our higher self, with our spiritual guides, with our God or our universal consciousness, whatever your beliefs are. So, and intuition doesn't understand words and there's no explanation. You can't explain something, a concept. You just feel it, you understand it. It's just a sense of knowing, and you know that it's okay because you have a sense of peace when you discover the truth. And that discovery is, like I just said, it's just a sense of knowing. And the energy that you are in the moment that you discover that is just pure peace and happiness and just kind of freedom, like you just took a veil from your system. The intuition is the higher intelligence, the higher level of intelligence. That intuition is a tool that has been used for the wise men in the history, people like Einstein, and many others, like also the psychologist, very famous Carl Jung is one of the psychologists that was the one that was the most spiritual, because he was the one that connected through his intuition. Even he was the one that studied the Oriental philosophies that are ones that use this tool of wisdom. So what happens? Carl Jung was the one that used believing the I Ching, and he learned how throwing on the coins to get answers from above through the I Ching, that's not like some people believe. Maybe people that don't understand that intuition exists, the logic and the reason, that don't understand this vocabulary, usually like to label something that they don't understand, something that is not familiar. They say, oh, this you are, for example, guessing. You are someone that likes to guess, but that's not what happens. There's a difference between guessing, and some people might guess, okay, and might just say whatever they invent thing. I'm not saying that um, everyone is truth, and like in every profession, but other people really have a connection, and you can have your connection. It doesn't have to be another person. Everyone can have the connection with the higher self through the intuition, and you're gonna have answers, or you're gonna have messages. You have messages from above, and everything you need to know is there for you. It's inside you, actually. You don't need to depend in someone else to find answers. So what else about this I want to tell you? So the intuition is usually the chakra that you need to be in balance. You need to be clear. It's the third eye. That's why I call the third eye, because it's the eye that sees everything. Actually, the intuition, you can access to that, seeing everything exactly how it is, not how we are falsely seeing our world many times in an illusionary way, in the ego land. It's the ego. I have this because it came out this month, so I explained to you now how it's just awesome how it came out. So what else? And also I wanted to tell you that the heart is our organ, the main organ in our body, and is the one that really communicates through the language of intuition. The heart doesn't care about the words. That's from the mind. So if you really want to connect to the truth and to your purpose in life, to your real feelings, you really have to connect with your heart to find your integrity. And this is something that you can. What the better way of communicating with the heart is from your feelings, your emotions, your intuition, the images. An artist connects with the heart, and this is a moment we are right now where we can actually connect with ourselves and with our heart. Okay, I want to explain a little bit how this works, what is the map of the soul, and how everyone can do their map of the soul, of course, prior to learning. In my case, the way I make the map of the soul is with my cards. I do soul collage cards, and so with the soul collage cards, each card has an identity that I know. It has a name, so I know what they mean for me. But all the time, these cards keep on revealing me new things and keep on opening my mind. Okay, so I use my soul collage cards to make the map of the soul. So if you at some point you are interested in learning how to make the map of the soul, you have to learn soul collage, and it's something that I want to challenge myself eventually to teach. I never taught soul collage online via Zoom. This is something very unfamiliar to me, but it might happen. So once you enter into the practice of learning soul collage, which is a method of autoconocimiento, which means self-knowledge, and getting to know yourself through this method. You can find soul collage also in the web to find what it means and who is the founder of soul collage. I have been using soul collage for many years now, and I have more than 200 cards. I love them. They are my tool of communication with my higher self in a daily basis, basically. Okay, so going back to the map of the soul. So the map of the soul is basically when I draw the cards on the map of the soul. I like to use it to draw them in during the full moon. No, so I have 9 questions, and each card answers a question. And then, for example, when I draw a card, that is telling me that card that I draw is gonna show me a new understanding of this concept that I'm gonna draw. In this case, the card that I drew March the 9th, before I knew exactly the COVID, I wasn't sure. I didn't, I mean, it was before the news, okay? So what happened is I had this card, right? And yeah, it's like a cat. And what it means for me, because this has meaning for me, right? So what it means for me, the cat is, when I created this card, it is the cat is for me was at that time in the chakra of the root, and the chakra of the root is the chakra that is related to survival, to basic needs like food and house and feeling safe. And in this case, when we feel unsafe, the cat is telling us to move slowly, be careful, be cautious, and because like the grounds are moving, we are not in steady grounds right now. So this is what it means for me. And so when I got that card, I pay attention. But what I love about the map of the soul is that you never know what you're gonna learn until you walk the map. Like any map, you have to walk the map. And walk the map means go through the whole month and see the experiences that are showing up to you and how you're gonna use this map it's gonna talk to you, it's gonna tell you everything. So I didn't know exactly what it's gonna tell me at this point. I knew that this was a theme, and this is the other side of being cautious, as far as I know what cautious means. So when I took my second card, this card is about how do I use my creativity to learn something new about what I'm gonna learn. And I got this card, right? This card is a person that is needy here. It's a person that feels unprotected, and so she doesn't feel safe. And this card that goes together, they work this together, because this one comes from, it's a spiritual guides from above, and this card to me represents the frequency of happiness. It's a high frequency. And so why there's these two, they work together, because this is how I start to learn something about this. What I start to see is that it's telling me, watch this, because now what I'm trying to tell you is that you don't have to be careful and feel unprotected like you usually would feel with this card. It's telling me that I need to be careful not to lose my high frequency, my happiness. Be careful not to get lost in this world. This is the ego world. This is laughing at you, the fear and the things that happen right now. So it's telling me, be careful, don't associate this card with being fear and that your grounds are moving. Just teaching me a new way of go through what we are all going through at this moment. Sorry. So it's teaching me to connect with my higher frequency, with the things that make me happy. And that was very helpful for me. Every time that I felt like I was getting caught into this trap, the trap of the ego, the news, and being fearful, and doing things about everything that is related to that, I just came back to this, and I remember, be careful. And it's telling me that there's something I don't see here, which is this is what we think this is happening. Most of the people, they believe that what is happening is what all it is that is happening, but that's why you have the third eye that sees everything, and that's why we need to use intuition to connect with everything that we don't see. And through the map of the soul, we gain access to this knowledge, to this wisdom. So very smart here. I received this information about, hey, all you need to do here is just connect with the things that make you happy. Just don't pay attention to that. Now, the next card that I draw is this card, and this card is number 4, and you see it's a hard interruption here. And this is answering a question that is related to, what is it that in my life I have to pay attention to at this moment, this month? It's telling me, watch your heart. What is the meaning? That's some time of my life I did this card because I was having, like arrhythmia. And so I was interesting enough, I heal myself because I make the connection. Why is it that I was having the arrhythmia? Here the connection is, be careful, because you don't want to interrupt your heart. You don't want this that is happening right now, and make you interrupt your heart. Okay, and how does it make you interrupt your heart? By you being here, needy, and lost. You are not lost. You need to make your heart happy. How you make your heart happy is by connecting with the frequency of things that make you happy. That's all you need to do. Don't abandon your heart. So very smart how everything starts to talk and everything starts making sense. Listen, I will show you next month, like in 3 days, I take the next cards, and I'm going to show you. I never did that before. The moment I'm taking the cards that I don't see. So you can see that this is actually something that just comes. This information to me. This card, which is here on the right side, is called, you see, like new agreements. They're holding the hands, shaking hands, making new agreements, and what it means. This is answering the question of what do you need, what I need to pay attention now for myself and nourish. And it's telling me, nourish, you're committed to new terms of living your life now. I mean, you cannot continue to live your life in like old agreements, because they're not going to work right now. We have new agreements to make. We have to accept this new thing that is coming. And the more that I nourish that, and I understand how it works, that I really have to make new agreements, new terms. Could be I can make new terms that I have to leave my house right now, that I will do more paint when before I wasn't doing more paint. Maybe new agreements is that when I took this, I wasn't doing the videos yet. A new agreement was that I was going to make maybe once a week a video to you, and it was very challenging for me to speak in the camera and share all my wisdom or whatever I received from above. But I'm making a new agreement for myself. New agreements, you could be the way you eat. You can start having a new diet, a new routine of exercise. You cannot stay in grieving that you lost something, or you lost your dream, or you lost this way you used to live your life, because it might not go back to that again. We don't know, and that's okay that we don't know. Why do we have to know everything? So embrace this. This is what it's telling me. Embrace the new agreements and just keep on walking the new grounds. And probably, to me, it's very important, because it's telling me that it might be a new agreement for me to make a class in Zoom to teach soul collage. I haven't done it. I don't know how it's going to work. It's not what I used to. It's not what I like to interact with people, to do movement and other things, or visualizations. Maybe I can find a new way that I don't know yet, but this is what is talking to me. Okay, embrace this. And then we go back to this card again, which is the one that answers to how do I don't get my power. I limit my power. I hold my power when I pay attention to this. I get trapped. Okay, so when I pay attention to the ego, which means the world of the fears, of what is going on with the virus and all this craziness, it happens laughing at us. Very clear. I don't want to lose my power, and the way the map is telling me is, don't pay attention. Just do what you need to do. Connect with the energy of high frequency. Don't let your heart be interrupted with fear, and just go ahead and try new ways of living your life, new contracts. Okay? You're not unsafe. Don't let him win the battle. It's always a battle of the mind, the ego and the soul. Don't let the ego win the battle. Okay? So again, I started with this card telling me be cautious, and that will work with this card. But now I learned that this card, that cautious, means be cautious not to fall in the trap. Be cautious not to fall in the trap. And that's the new revelation. And that's a new way of seeing this card, which I'm so grateful. Okay, and then I have this card. This card is suffocation, limitation, almost cannot breathe. Look at this turtle there. When I did get this card, it's unbelievable, because when I was doing this video in Spanish, I was feeling this, was telling me like, the virus is about not being able to breathe, this kind of suffocation, and at the same time, there's many interesting messages here. This is what I like about intuition, how and the images, how they speak so much, because you remember that phrase that says that one image is worth a million words. So exactly, this is an image that has a lot of content and metaphors and meanings. For example, in this, it's answering a question where it says, I give my power away if I feel like I can't breathe, and actually this I can't breathe. It's not true. This is a moment, think about the paradoxes in life and in the words. When you think you are limited because you are limited by being in your side, in your house, you cannot go out, just like literally limited. But then in that limited of that word, remember, this is a word, and here's the paradox, is where you're going to find all the unlimited. Because when you are confined in a place, limited, you can go in and you can find your air and you can start to breathe the moment you connect with your infinity and with your unlimited soul. So actually the limitation is your way to your illimitation. So what I think is that every time we get a phrase, a word, we want to challenge the word, because the word is the word that we get to know from this land, the ego land, and it's very limited as a word. The word is limited. You have to challenge, you have to continue to ask questions, because you're going to find incredible answers and messages. So this gave me a lot of answers, of course. I'm not, in the moment that I discovered that by being limited in my house, I am feeling more unlimited than ever, than when I was free to go out all the time. I just find that I'm doing more things and I feel more free with my soul, because I am being able to express all things that I wasn't able to do before. So I found myself within that limitation. And interesting, no? So the last one here, we have two more. We have this one, which is related to the feminine energy, and then we have this one. This is wholeness, integrity, wholeness. When a being feels whole, is when a being is integrating all the parts of the self. And in these moments, when something comes in, discard, be cautious, be fearful, the virus and this, you start to lose all yourself. You get out of balance. You start to lose the wholeness. And what happens when you want to be in balance? You need to have balance in the energy, the feminine and the masculine, and it happens within you. If you have the partner, you're a man, then it can also represent that masculine energy. And if I'm a man, and again, the woman represent that, but it's at the same time, it's within us. Everyone has it. So whether I have my man or inside of me, I have both, and they both work together. So the way it works is the masculine energy, which is focus. So it's telling me that if I want to be whole, I need to be focused. If I lose my focus, then I lose my wholeness. So to be whole is to be completely connected, my high frequency, with my heart. Don't let my heart be interrupted by all this. And my masculine energy within me is telling me, or outside me is telling me to be focused. Just put your mind in where you need to put your mind. You cannot get distracted with all this nonsense, because you get out of your path. And so I hope you get an idea how this magic map of the soul works. I have been using, like, I don't know, if almost a year, and every time I draw a new concept to understand, it just opens me to a new dimension, a new world, a new way of seeing things that happen to me in the life, and it's just a guidance to deal with them, and with good results. Tell me, let me tell you that I have excellent results with this. So like I was saying, if I decide to move forward and do my soul collage classes eventually, this is a level more advanced to do the map of the soul, but doesn't matter. We all start learning one step at a time. And basically when you learn soul collage, you're going to learn about working with your intuition, training that intuition, and focusing on image, intuition, and imagination, the three eyes. Okay. What else? Well, if you want to, you can go to, right now I'm not done with my webpage, but I'm having a new webpage, but I have my Facebook page, and if I do an event by Zoom, I will post it there, and every other event, if I do something about artistic healing, other ways that I work with the spirit and the art to heal and to connect with, I heal through the spirit. You can find information there, and you can see now I'm going to put, you can check the Facebook address, and you have to put the whole address because otherwise it's going to take you another page, okay? Sometimes Facebook is very weird how it works. I hope you like it, and if you like it, you can subscribe to my channel. I am committed to share everything that I channel from above. I do channel a lot. I have been channeling a lot, but I haven't been sharing a lot, and I feel that it's my time to share, because this information, this wisdom that I receive is not for me to keep, it's for me to share, and I don't want to be selfish. So I love you all, and I hope you like it, and I hope it serves you well. Be in peace and be safe.